All right, so I wanted to post a little video letting y'all know how the exams will be dealt with in this class, okay? Your exams, you have one for each unit. So remember how I talked about in the intro video, your units are labeled E11, E12, that kind of thing. And then you have E21, E22, and the E1 is all the exam 1 material. The E2 stuff is all the exam 2 material, okay? And there's E1 through 4. So that means we're gonna cover 4 units of material, and for each of those units, there is an exam. Now, the way we run our online classes here at Eastern, for the time being anyways, is that I do not proctor your 4 unit exams. So you take those exams on your own. Now, before you get so excited about that, I do want to tell you they are timed, okay? They are timed exams, and my online exams are a little bit harder than the exams I would give in a regular lecture class because I have no way of knowing if you're using your notes, if you're using your friend, someone else is taking it for you, that kind of thing. So keep that in mind that you still need to do the reviews, you still need to prepare yourself. I also encourage you to take your exams as if you're actually taking an exam. Okay, meaning you don't use a graphing calculator because you're not going to be able to use a graphing calculator on the final. You do your best not to reference a note card, your notes, anything like that, because obviously that's the kind of test you're going to take when you get your final. And also, because I have no way of knowing if you're cheating or not, I do not award any partial credit on exams. I grade them right or wrong. Okay. Now, being an online class, I understand that there are times that our computers freak out on us. So to alleviate some of that pressure of, oh my gosh, I have to take it right now, and you know, I can't pause it, I can't come back later, I have allowed everyone 2 attempts on each of the 4 unit exams. Okay, now let me explain these 2 attempts. The things that constitute an attempt. I have the exam set so that if you have your exam open and you try to open another browser, your exam will shut down. And not only will it lock your exam, it will lock all of your other MyMathLab assignments. Okay, the only way to unlock your MyMathLab account is for you to email me and basically say, oopsie, I tried to open another page while I was taking my test, which in essence means I was cheating, and I will unlock it for you, but that counts as your first attempt. Okay, I won't unlock it so you can finish that one. You'll just take a 0 or whatever you earned at that point on that one, and then you can go in and try your other attempt. Okay, now the reason, I know that sounds a little harsh, some of y'all have email that will pop up and say you've received a new message, or you have Skype open and somebody starts calling you. All those programs need to be turned off when you take an exam. The only thing you want open when you're taking your exam is the website, the MyMathLab website, with the exam, okay? Because if anything else, if you try to open anything else, it locks your exam, okay? I know that happens to a lot of people. You try to cheat, you try to whatever, that takes away one of your attempts. If you try it again, then you get a bad grade on both attempts, okay? For those of you who don't cheat, which I hope is the majority of you, the other reason I allow 2 attempts is because some of you will find that you make little dumb mistakes, that kind of thing. So if you're willing to take the time to try the test twice, okay, MyMathLab will only record the highest grade. It's not an average or anything. It only takes your best attempt, okay? Like I said, I don't go in and grade partial credit, and you cannot review your completed exam until after the due date of the exam. So say your first exam has to be completed by, I don't know, I'm just going to make up a date, say June 10th or something like that, okay? That means you can take your exam, you know, at whatever point you get done with all the material. You may get done a little early, say you're ready to test by June 1st or something, okay? If you work ahead and you get done and you're ready to take your exam, you can take your exam whenever you're ready. Just make sure you allot however much time you're allowed. I think most of the exams I give 70 minutes, so an hour and 10 minutes. So you sit down and you take your exam. Once you're done with your exam, you'll be able to see what the score was that you earned on that exam. However, until June 10th or whatever the date of that exam is, the due date of that exam, you're not going to be able to go back in and review your exam. And that's just to kind of keep some integrity, right? Because if you're taking your test sooner and your friend's taking the test later, I don't want one person to go in and take the test and then tell their friend everything that's on the test, and you know what I'm saying. So you cannot review the actual problems and your mistakes until the date of the exam. So if you test early, just keep that in mind. Also, if you decide to do the second attempt, same thing. Okay, you will be able to see what you got as a grade on your first exam, but you won't be able to review it before you try your second attempt. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so that's how unit exams go. You do them on your own time as long as you complete them by the corresponding due date. If your account freezes, you have to email me. Otherwise, you won't be able to do anything else the rest of the semester because your account will be froze. Now, the final exam is a little bit different. The final exam is a cumulative exam, which means it covers everything we've done the entire semester, and it has to be proctored. So for those of you who live within 200 miles driving distance, you will come take your final exam with me on Thursday, July 24th at 10 a.m. So from 10 to noon, we'll be taking our final exam. I'll send out an email letting y'all know the location that we'll be using for that exam, but for right now, at least you know the day and the time. For those of you who live further than 200 miles away, you will have to take your exam with a certified proctor, okay, or a legitimate proctor is what we'll call it, okay. To be an approved proctor, we're looking for a college testing center, which means at a four-year university or a community college. We're making sure that the person who is giving you the test does not know you, is not related to you, is not your friend, okay? It has to be a legitimate college testing center, and you will need to fill out the proctor form and have that sent in to me at least 2 weeks before the final exam, because it goes to our distance ed department. They verify your proctor, make sure it's a legitimate person to proctor your exam, and then they send the form on to me so that I know that you can use that proctor. Okay, so again, if you live within 200 miles, you take your exam with me on July 24th. If you live further away than 200 miles of our Eastern campus here in Portales, you have to find a proctor on your own time at your own expense, and you have to fill out that proctor form and send it in to me. Okay, the proctor form needs to be in 2 weeks before the final exam, and also your final exam, when you take it with your proctor, because you can take it whenever you're ready, okay, has to be completed by 5 p.m. on Thursday, July 24th. Now you can wait until July 24th to take it, or you can take it sooner, but it has to be completed by 5 p.m. on July 24th. This exam will be on paper for all students, okay? But the reason I have that cutoff day is because for those of you who live over 200 miles away, I need to make sure that I can get your exam in time for me to grade it and put your grade in by that Saturday, okay? Other questions? On the final exam, you are only allowed a pencil and a calculator, okay? A non-graphing calculator and a pencil. I will provide the formula sheet, which you'll be able to see on my math lab. It's listed under your review tabs. And I will provide the exam and the scratch paper. The only thing you need to show up with is a pencil, a calculator, and a picture ID, so that either I or your proctor can identify that you actually are who you say you are, okay? If you have any other questions about the regular unit exams or the final exam, please let me know. As an added disclaimer really quickly, remember your first exam, or one of your first homeworks of the semester was titled Warnings Page. This is a warning about taking math online, how difficult it can be, that you understand your expectations. Okay, and then there's also a proctor form posted under your course materials. I only need the proctor form if you live further than 200 miles away. Okay, If you live within 200 miles away, you don't have to fill out the Proctor form. However, everyone needs to fill out the warnings page. These 3 documents have been emailed to you. So if you haven't filled out your warnings page and got it into me, make sure you do that ASAP, or you're going to get a 0 on that assignment. And if you live further than 200 miles away from our campus here in Portales, make sure you also fill out that Proctor form and get it turned in to me. If you have any questions, let me know. That's it.